Club, and you're listening to another episode of the Hashtag Kangaroos podcast. Here is your host, Dean Basic.
G'day and welcome back to another episode of the Hashtag Kangaroos podcast. I'm your host, Dean Vasic, and tonight we're talking about a heartstopper, a 1-point win over the West Coast Eagles, and I'm still not sure if we pinched it or survived it. So tonight is a solo podcast, and we're going to be going through my thoughts of the game and just a few individual players, and I'll be going through your Twitter questions as well towards the second part of the episode. So just by myself today, but yeah, we've got plenty to go through. So let's get started. And I'm not too sure what this victory means. Is it just papering over a few cracks, or is it something to build from? And are we underestimating West Coast Eagles as well? They've been quite good the last few weeks, had a couple of good wins against GWS Giants. Port Adelaide, they were quite competitive against last week. So, yeah, maybe we're not giving our team enough credit. But it wasn't pretty, it wasn't comfortable, but it's 4 points. So let's get straight into it. Now, we started off the game okay, but a big undisciplined act and a few undisciplined acts, particularly with Harley Reid in that first quarter, where we just gave away a couple silly free kicks, got sucked into his what he was doing, which is probably trying to bait us a little bit, and yeah, he seemed to feed into that, and he started off the first quarter quite well, did Harley Reid. He had 11 possessions in the first quarter and a few clearances, kicked a goal, probably should have kicked 3, and then a real undisciplined act by my favourite player of all time, Charlie Spargo. I'll definitely have my thoughts about him very soon, and we're a bit stiff to be 5 points down. The pressure rating was quite good, 216 in the first quarter, and yeah, obviously a little bit stiff to be 5 points down. And then West Coast got the first couple of goals in the second quarter, and I felt like the momentum of the game changed a little bit. Obviously, the goal that wasn't given to Waterman came off his knee. It would have got West Coast up to 4 goals. But I felt the momentum shifted when we moved Zurhaar out of the back line and put him forward. And then McKercher went into the back line to give the team some speed behind the ball. I'm not too sure why they keep persisting with Zurhaar. I thought they would have given it up after the Gold Coast game, and they put him back there in the second half against Fremantle last week. It didn't really work, and it slows the team down so much back there as well. So, yeah, I'm not too sure why they keep going there. And I really feel like we need a bit of a run and drive, especially Riley Hardiman coming out of the team. I know the replacement, and I'll give my thoughts on Cooper Harvey soon. Cooper Harvey is more, he's not as, he doesn't give that sort of same drive, meters gained as a Riley Hardiman. Very classy user of a football and relies on his skill a lot. He's got very good skills with his foot, but doesn't give that run and drive where he runs 25, 30 metres and kicks it long and finds a target that way, or tries to break the game open like a McKercher or a Hardiman. He's more of a, he'll take the little chip kick, and then he'll try and find another option with his elite kicking skills. So I've just got someone coming to the chat already. Shinbone at Shinbone83. It was a win nonetheless. Get the 4 points, take their money, and get back home. It's not a bad way of looking at it. So yeah, no, that's pretty well said there. So now, I guess the reason, look, I don't mind trying Zurhaar in the back line, and I guess it is possibly due to the fact that we have too many forwards in the team. Now you have Larkey, Trembath, Darling as your big 3 forwards, Paul Curtis and Zurhaar there, with Costanti and Spargo as your smalls rotating through there. It's kind of leaving Dersma as the odd man out, and this is a bit of a concern. 2 disposals, 50% game time, minus 16 metres gained. Our best forward out of all that is 34 years old as well. The balance of this team right now is a little out of whack. That we can't give game time to someone like Zane Dersma, which has every right to think that Darling might play a couple more years the way he's going, which leaves me doing fuck all. Maybe I need and this is something Dersma might be saying to himself. Well, maybe I need to find another team. And let's say he wants to go to Essendon. they can take him to the preseason draft as a free agent because they'll have a number one pick. They'll win a wooden spoon. Worst case scenario, they finish second last. It's still pick one or two, and you don't want to lose a talent like that for stuff. Also, I don't know what they're going to do here. Because he hasn't signed. There has been a lot of rumours when he was playing well that he was going to sign, but if he's going to find himself on the outer a little bit now, they're not going to. I don't think they'll drop him just yet. But he's not getting the game time, and if he's going to keep getting 40-50% game time because we've got too many forwards, then there's going to have to be that conversation. Now, personally, I don't think Spargo's offering enough. You could probably get him out of the team and play. Give a little bit more game time to Zane Dersma and maybe get someone else in there that gives a little bit of speed to the team. A smaller player like a Zach Bench who got injured on the weekend, but someone like that. So we'll have to wait and see how that plays out. But it's a little bit of a concern with Zane Dersma at the moment if Zerha plays forward. So, who knows? Maybe Brady Rawlings didn't get the balance of the list right after 6 years, or however long he's been there, 7 years I think he's coming up to. Positive for the game was Tristan Sherry. Now, interesting sort of tactic. 6 CBAs for the game only. There was only 20 in the end, but well down on what he usually does. But I find this as a positive, like I said, in the whole goad coming in. 55 ruck contest for Sherry still, but had a huge influence around the ground. And after the CBAs as well, 16 possessions, 8 tackles, 6 clearances, 6 score involvements, 2 goal assists. This might be his role going forward by the looks of it, unless he goes in certain matchups where, maybe a Darcy Cameron might be a good matchup for him against Collingwood when we play them in a few weeks' time, a player that doesn't have as big a leap. And if he's got that, then, certain players like that, then he can certainly, match up pretty well against those players in the ruck, and he'll have more CBAs. But I don't mind him starting as a centre-half forward, and then after the centre-bouts, he goes and plays his usual role. So that's something I think I've been talking about on the podcast for quite a few weeks as well. So it's good to see that, he's still a valuable asset, and he hasn't lost too much, even by not getting the CBAs. It hurts a little bit, but not as much as it probably a lot of people were leading on. I'm going to go to the debutant, Taylor Goad. 4 possessions, 20 hitouts. And here's a stat, only 37% time on ground. So, look, that might be his role going forward as a second ruck, similar to Will Dawson, what he was doing there. And that's pretty much all he did. Just play that second ruck role. He didn't go forward yet. Does have that potential to go forward, but that's something he's got to work on, his craft as a forward. And, he may be able to get more time on ground. But I was just talking about the forwards, how we've got 100 of them in the team. So, I don't know if he's going to be able to get that opportunity. Probably won't get it this year, maybe next year, but the way Jack Darling's going, I don't think he'd be in a hurry to retire or would be in a hurry to get rid of him. And he's still got another year. He's exercised a 1-year contract extension as well, Jack Darling, in his contract. He's definitely going to be there next year. So, look, not a bad debut for Taylor Goad. He's very good at the CBAs. He got a few hitouts to advantage. I don't have the stat in front of me. I think it was like 4 hitouts to advantage, which is not bad at the end of the day. Probably when it's a ball up, he seems to struggle with as far as wrestling goes. And I was a big fan of him getting a game this week based on form last week. I didn't see enough to suggest that he should have got a game. But, he more than held his own, I guess. Another player I wouldn't mind talking about, and I mentioned him a little bit before, is Cooper Harvey. 14 possessions, 4 tackles, 79% disposal efficiency. Seemed to grow into the game after a slow start. I don't think he had a touch in the first quarter. But we do get Hardiman back next week. So it's going to be interesting to see what they do there as well. Whether he comes out of the team as a straight swap for Riley Hardiman. I think Riley Hardiman's done enough to keep his spot in the team, and he did get a concussion. So that's going to be interesting. I mean, who else could you could probably, you take out, look, this is what they should do. Get rid of Spargo. I'm going to talk about him in a minute. Don't worry about that. put Caleb Daniel as your high half forward. He could play that role a little bit better. He could play on the wing. Charlie Sparger's playing on the wing. And then you could put Hardiman in the back line. That's what they should do. I don't know if they'll do that. They seem to be something. This seems to be something against playing Daniel forward of the ball. They did it for a half against someone earlier in the year because I like him kicking the ball inside forward 50, but that was about it. So, yeah, we'll see what happens. But overall, I thought a good game by Cooper Harvey anyway. There's going to be a lot of talk about Griffin Logan. A lot of your questions, a lot of your answers, I should say, are about Griffin Logan. But, is there any chance this guy, and David King and Lee Montagna talked about him a lot on First Crack, any chance this guy could get a body in his opponent? Look, he's been doing it for years, and I'm not surprised. I know a lot of people are sort of saying they were a little bit shocked about the way he defends, but he's been doing that for a long time. As far as the ball, I think he's hoping that the ball will go in long. He's trying to read the play as it's happening, and he's not very good at it right now. And like Lee Montagna said, he's becoming reactive when the ball goes to his opponent, and it's too late by then. He's trying to read the play, thinking, where's this kick going to go to so I can kill a contest? As far as someone killing a contest when the ball goes in long and deep, there's no one better than him. He does kill a contest. He'll punch a ball out of bounds. He did a nice smutter in the third quarter too. He did a couple of nice things, but I don't know. I don't think he's the type of player you want as your lockdown key defender right now, and he was pretty ordinary in a lot of the game, especially right at the end. With 30 seconds, or what was it, about a minute and a half to go, he's just left Jake Waterman alone 25 metres out directly in front. And, any other key forward probably kicks out in the competition. Jake Waterman's in a bit of a funny headspace at the moment, going for goal. He used to be quite a good kick, but he's kicked something like 31 goals, 36 behinds this year, and it was lucky it was him. And they missed some chances at the end too, and he wasn't the only one. But yeah, he doesn't fill me with confidence, put it this way, and there'll be plenty of people's opinions about him. Tom Myers had his best game of his short career, 24 possessions. A team high 580 metres gained, a game high 3 goal assists as well, 7 scoring involvements. His spot seems to be on the wing, which is good to see him developing and growing each game. I really like him. He's certainly got a little bit of pace. He's got a good kick on him. He's just he's probably got to back his own ability a little bit more. Look for those short passes. He tends to when he gets it, he tends to run and just kick it long a little bit too much, where there are shorter options on occasions. He burnt Harry Shees on one occasion in the first quarter. Lucky to get a goal out of that. But yeah, he's still got a bit of way to go in the AFL systems, but he does look good, and it was good to see him have a really good game, and he'll definitely keep his spot for this week. Good to see a return to form for the skipper and Nick Larkey as well. 4 goals, an equal team high 9 scoring involvements, 2 goal assists as well. Look, it looks like West Coast missed Jimby, but a confidence booster nonetheless, and a nice mark at the end to ice the game as well. So really good to see the skipper standing up in a crucial game. So well done to him after a lot of criticism has come his way over the last few weeks. And I've been one of his critics as well. Some of his body language has been quite poor, especially for your captain and leader at the club. Now, Jack Darling, I want to see him get forced out because like I mentioned, Zane Dersby, we have other players coming through that are younger, but he's our best forward right now and he needs to be playing. Is that a good thing that a 34-year-old is our best forward and kick goals, or is it a worry? I'll leave that question to you guys, but you can't leave him out of the team. He's just too good. He had 4 goals in the first half. I thought he was going to kick 8 or 10. He was just that dominant. And it was good to see him get almost a revenge game on his home soil after leaving after 298 games. Played in a premiership, all-Australian forward. So, yeah, and he's playing. His football has been as good now as it has ever been. So, yeah, lucky for him. It's a bit of a concern that he's probably our best forward and our best defender is Luke Parker. It concerns me a little with these things, but Rawlings will say that he brought these players in, so he's a mastermind, although Clarkson chased him and told Rawlings what to do there, so I'm not going to give Rawlings any credit with that one. Now we're going to go to a negative. This bloke, Charlie Spargo, 7 possessions. You'd think he's Harry Sheasel out there the way he carries on to his teammates and tells them off even though he misses a 2-metre handball. I'm sick of this bloke being demonstrative to his teammates every game. It's infuriating watching this. I want to know how you supporters and fans think about this, or do you think about this? Look, he did it with Cooper Trimbath. I think it was last quarter. Cooper, I can't even remember the situation exactly. I have to watch a replay, but there was a contest and the ball went out of bounds. I think he missed him with a handball or something like that, Trimbath, and Trimbath's gone up to him to give him a little bit of a pat on the back, and he's just ignored him. He's just dissed him, and to me, he just lacks professionalism right now. Look, fair enough if it's someone good, like even Jason Horne-Francis, doesn't go to this level as bad as this level. He'll have the odd meltdown or something like that, but this guy just does it every week. Where if you don't hit him lace out for 55 metres out, he'll crack the shits because it's the wrong option. He's been very selfish. He's thinking of himself. He seems to crack the shits when players don't hit him on a target where he can get a scoring involvement or kick a goal. And to me, that's just a selfish reaction. It's all good and well. He'll high five Nick Larkey when he kicks a goal, but anyone can do that. It's easy to be supportive when someone does something well. It's hard to be supportive when someone makes a mistake doing the honest thing. And I know Jake Costanti has his detractors, and I've certainly been one of them over the course of his career. But at least he's not a dickhead like this bloke. And I know he's got a role in a team, and he'll do disciplinary things and be defensive and all that. But other than that, he doesn't offer anything. Like 7 possessions, he's averaging probably 8 or 9 possessions since he's come into the team, and he's acting like a flog. He needs to pull his head in, and I know the club won't drop him because they went out of their way to give this guy a 3-year contract. On what basis, I don't know. One of Brady Rawlings' masterstrokes there. I'm sick of talking about him, and I'm sick of thinking about him. Not that I think about him too much or anything like that, but he's got to pull his head in. And the leader's got to go. I'll still go back to halftime last week where I think Nick Larkey had a go at him. Andrew Brayshaw had a go at him. And he tried to push him back and missed him. And Andrew Brayshaw is not an instigator with that sort of stuff, but even he was probably thinking, "What the hell's wrong with this idiot?" So, yeah, he's quite frustrating at the moment, and I'm not a fan of him, to be honest with you. And it's going to take a little bit of maturity for me to turn it around. I don't care that he's not getting 20, 25 possessions, but don't carry on like you're the greatest thing. You're Marcus Bontempelli, Gary Ablett Jr. all into one, and that you deserve better almost when you're out there playing. Pull your head in, and leaders at the club and coaches at the club should be telling him this. And just look, he shouldn't be getting a game. Just drop him. Get Caleb Daniel half forward, Hardiman in, keep Cooper Harvey in the team, and that's it going forward. So where do we go from here? So we have 2 pretty soft games coming up. Have we got something here? 6 wins so far for the season. Haven't done that since 2019. Could we still play finals? We could go to 8-7 quite easily. It would be nice to get a couple of good wins. I don't know. I'm not confident we can, and get a bit of percentage back up there. It would be nice to get to in the mid-90s again and really put ourselves in the frame, because you win 2 games in a row, it builds belief, it builds confidence. Then you go in against Collingwood, who'll probably be around the mark as us. So you never know. You can really build something. Collingwood at Marvel as well. We've got Port Adelaide in Adelaide. Look, that'll be tricky. We've never won in Adelaide, but we pushed them last year, and Port Adelaide were probably a little bit better last year as well. They actually, in their defence, I think Port Adelaide have been a lot better than what their ladder position is. They've got a percentage of 101, and they're 4th last, and they've lost a lot of close games, and their system actually looks pretty good at the moment. So I think they've actually been better. They look like they're building something under Josh Carr. All right, so we'll go to the VFL before I go to your listener answers when I put the question out there. And there were a lot of, and thank you for everyone getting involved as well, because this is a show for you fans, and I really want to get you guys more involved. So the VFL had a draw against the Saints, 13-8-86 to 11-20-86. The Saints missed some absolute gimme goals. So we're pretty lucky to get a draw or get away with a draw with this one. So some standout performers with 15 AFL listed players. Robert Hansen Jr., 32 touches, but he refuses to do anything defensively. I'm not a big fan. I know every time he gets it, he generally uses it pretty well, but defensively, I don't know, he's below average. He doesn't do anything. So I think, and this is probably going to be the wrong way of looking at it. I think he's a selfish player. I think he doesn't work hard. He's happy to get cheap possessions, and it looks good when he gets it because he does generally use it pretty well. But I don't think he's. I don't know. I'm not a big fan of him. I'll still go back to that last game in the VFL last year. His attitude and the way he played was one of the poorer things I've seen for a player in the VFL. I think he would have done. He would have run about. And most players run about 10 Ks a game. He would have run it less than a K that game. He just stayed on the wing, didn't want to do anything defensively, just wanted to get some cheap possessions and, hurt the team as well. I think we ended up losing by a couple of goals and he hurt the team. So I'm not a big fan. Look, I'm a bit past him, and that might be a bit harsh unless other people are seeing something different, but I don't know. I'm not a big fan, put it this way. Bailey Scott, and that's two weeks in a row. He's found some good form with 28 touches on the wing. So he's just, I don't know if he'll ever get a game again. He's probably right on the outer. We do have a lot of wingmen at the club right now. Zach Fisher, 26 possessions. Looked okay. Aiden Core, 26, but most of them from kick-outs, especially when there's 20 behind. So, look, there's a spot there for... I'd probably have more confidence in him than Griffin Logue because he'll at least get a body on his player. But yeah, we'll wait and see. Josh Goda, 24 touches and getting continuity now, which is good. A lot of people are calling for him to come into the team, but we've got a couple of players to come in this week. And yeah, he may just have to bide his time in the VFL right now. But look, the signs are good with Josh Goda. So, it's been probably 3 or 4 weeks that he's played in a row. So that's really good to see. CCJ, 22 touches, a goal and 10 clearances, playing in a Tristan Cherry-like game, just grabbing him out of the ruck and just giving us first use. So but that's a VFL for you. James Tarrant, I really like this kid. I was shocked that he wasn't picked up in the mid-season draft. There was talk about him during the course of the year. Did his hamstring, had a little hamstring niggle? I don't know. I thought they hit him, to be honest with you, because I thought they were going to take him in the mid-season draft. But he's a very good, promising key forward. And I'd expect him to be on an AFL list next year somewhere. I really like him. Ollie Griffin with 3 goals as well. Never going to get a game as a forward, though. We've got too many of that. So, and like I said, Foss and Hardeman due back next week. So probably means no options for those guys to come into calculations. That's pretty much about it. There's no one else. Whitlock didn't hit the scoreboard. Zach Bench was on and off the ground with an injury. I'm not too sure what the injury was. Same as Will Dawson. They didn't get much of the ball. So they'll be in the VFL probably next week as well. So we'll have to wait and see with selection and which players may come out. So it's going to be an interesting selection. Not so much dilemma this week, but probably as to which way they go with certain players. All right, let's go to X now, and I'll get as I'm getting more comments coming in. So I just wanted to get your thoughts on the result from the weekend. So let's go through. There's a lot to go through here. So I'll do that right now. So it's Steve in Bell Park. Logue has to be dropped. The footage of him defending is damn disgraceful. Well, like I said, he refuses to get a body on anyone, and he's been doing it for a long time, Stephen. So, but fair enough there. Bailey Icewind Dale at HDHDNXH. 627W7W. What a handle that is. Very good handle there, Bailey Dale. Won the contested possession, won the clearances, won the tackle and pressure count. Had an expected score win of a goal. Besides bad defending, giving teams a sniff, it was a good win away from home. That's probably a really positive way of looking at it. It was away from home, and West Coast have been okay. So, yeah, expected score was 87-81. So, yeah, you're right there. Roo Sowat at 118. 6 wins from 13. Or 13 with the F. Still 10 to go. Can't complain. Another thing, find out what is wrong with Logue. Isn't him or the Jed Adcock? Is it? Is always. There's no space here. Is it him or Jed Adcock? It could be a combination of both there. So I'm not. We don't know if we're not in the inner sanctum, but it'd be nice if he could get a body on his opponent every now and then. Dino at Dean K88 means nothing if we don't win again Sunday. Yeah, against Richmond, you'd hope we can, continue our form, but it is at the MCG, and we don't have a great record away from Marvel Stadium, so we'll have to wait and see. Thanks for coming in, Stinger at Steve Borden _. After 6 years at the club, Brady Rawlings still hasn't improved the easiest back six to score against in a comp. Sack. Just coming in with the Stinger death drop there, Steve Borden. So, yeah, fair enough. It hasn't improved. The Shinboners podcast at Shinboners Pod. Shout out to Bailey Tyson, whose son had broke his collarbone last week. Was it early last week or the week? Or it might have been the weekend. He's only 3 years old as well, but from what I understand, I listened to his podcast today, and he said his son's doing pretty well. He's recovering pretty well, I should say. So, yeah, shout out to Bailey Tyson there. They do some great work. Him and what is it, Froggy or so, and the Chief as well. So definitely listen to his podcast. But he said after some of our close losses this year, we were due to win one we shouldn't have. Fair enough. Shinboner at page_GMA. Concerning, a little bit concerning. Depends how you want to look at it. Skeptikos at Skeptikos Andras. It sounds like a Greek name. Positives, Goad, Blamires, Harvey, and we won. Negatives, Logue, Parker, just too aggressive with kicks in board. Dress for rehearsal for end-of-year trade period. Need defenders, add Goda, Hardeman, Archer 2027. Need a key or two. Look, all very, very good points. Parker has conceded the most scores from turnovers in a team this year, but he does add a lot. So I'll get that. When it comes off, it looks really good. Problem is when it doesn't, we usually cop a goal. So it depends how you look at it. I mean, we've probably got a lot of scores from his aggressive kicks, particularly that last quarter against Gold Coast. He did a lot of those aggressive kicks towards the corridor, and they all seem to pay off. So you got to take the good with the bad sometimes. Will Carson at Shinbone 29. I watched it again yesterday. Knowing the result, I was less frustrated with the errors and actually think we played all right. It wouldn't have been that close if the umps didn't rob us with Espargo and Tremath non-decisions. We're doing okay. That's a good way of looking at it. Will, Spargo, obviously, that's the incident where Spargo took the mark, but he's more upset with Cooper Tremath for one he did or something like that. So, that's the incident I was talking about anyway, Charlie Spargo. Joe Kazenza at Joe_Kazenza. Crazy Joe Kazenza. 4 points. Move on to next week. That's very well summed up. Martin at Martin B1708. We got lucky and won one we shouldn't have. Hopefully this might wake them up a bit. We were due a lucky win like that, though, been on the end of many unlucky losses over the past few years. Yeah, I mean, we're probably pretty unlucky against the Swans earlier this year. That's probably one game that in recent history sort of suggests that we're a little bit unlucky there. The No Language at the No Language. Some good usernames here, I've got to give you that. Putrid. Logie is probably the worst player to ever pull on a North jumper. Probably a little bit harsh. We've had some pretty ordinary ones in my lifetime. So, but everyone's entitled to their own opinion. That's what I like about this. Piercy at Evil Dance 86374080. We'll take the points. Unconvincing win, still a win. Yeah, well, that's it. It's like Dennis Pagan used to say, you are judged on your wins and losses. We won, so you judge it pretty well. Chris Palazzo at Palazzo. Chris, Riley Goda for Caleb. Goad stays in. Low. Do we just play Dawson for the rest of the year and see what he does? They won't do that. They refuse to give Dawson a go as a key back. So it looks like if Lowe comes out, it will probably be for either Aiden Core or Toby Pink. Look, at least Toby Pink will get a body on someone. So whatever you think about him. Robert McLeod at Robert M 943573343. Defence is still a big issue with a blatant example similar to a 10-year match. David King openly criticised the defence of our backman who had no idea where his opponent was. That's obviously Griffin Logue. He also said that defence coach was partly responsible for allowing this pattern to develop. Unacceptable. Yeah, it's going back to David King. He said they've changed the defensive structure, or defensive system 3 times over the last 2 years. So now still can't seem to get it right. Joe Dirt at YUGEHOSS. It was ugly as fuck, but I'd still rather an ugly win than an honourable loss. Yeah, look, I think we're a bit sick of losses, aren't we? We've had a lot over the last 6 years. Edward Williams at EdWill32. Just happy we won. Usually we get smashed when we don't play well, so that's an improvement. Yeah, it's probably a good way of looking at it. Johnny Random at Johnny Random 4. Win is a win. That's all that matters. Outside the last 2 minutes, we were on the wrong end of a couple of bad calls that would have iced the game. Yes, that is true. So, yeah, there was 1 or 2, but yeah, very good point there. JT at Ruboy 1988. Lucky to win, and we need to pull their fingers out as the form the last 2 weeks has been shit. Should be beating Richmond convincingly this weekend at the stage of rebuild both teams are at, but can't play like that. You would want to see some improvement. It doesn't matter who you play. You'd certainly want to see some improvement after that. The Blind Skeptic at Blind Skeptic. A win is much better than a loss despite the context around it. They just have to back it up and play better. I couldn't have said it better myself. Lois at Lois Anti. Is making the wild card a good thing? As long as we are in the hunt, Clarko will continue to play the same old chumps to the detriment of development. Dump the chumps, play more kids, and if we make it good, not to the expense of development. It's a fair point. Like, do we keep playing someone like a Jack Darling? Not give him I'm not saying drop him, but do we sort of just give him a rest every now and then, and maybe just get a Zane Dursby? Like I agree. Like, what's the point of what are you trying to get 10th spot and go out in the first week of the finals? Does it really mean that much? Probably not. And a lot of people will come in and say, well, you've only won the games that you expected to win with the Gold Coast game as the exception, but Gold Coast aren't playing exactly great football as well. So, yeah, we'll have to wait and see. Now, I'll just go to... No one else has come into the chat yet on the live feed, so I will... Oh, no, someone has. Joe Ganchi, 2486. Most North supporters would have taken a 1 and 1 win-loss at the start of the WA trip. But we need to do something with the back line. It's embarrassing. Yep, that's. I think you're not the only one that's saying that at the moment. So, yeah, very good point there. None at none 46208843. Good result, poor performance. Goad looked good. Harvey did okay. Want to see major changes. Well, you haven't said any major changes. Who you want to see in and out? Come back into the comments there. None. Rick Racing at Racing's Bests. Pink Foss Hard Bench Dov. Bench or Dov out. Low Curtis Spargo Daniel. Yeah, Daniel's, that's the second time he's been mentioned as possibly going out of the team. I'd like to see him in a different role. Branthwaite's left foot at My name's Jeff. 4 points is 4 points, but we should have lost. Not helped by umps missing critical free kicks for us. It's interesting to see a lot of people thought we were lucky to hang on, but the expected score does say we should have won. So I don't know if we were lucky to win. I think the result was right. Gab at Gab 84444556. Still the same. We won, but it feels like we lost at the same time. Wasn't much a response. Was expecting. It was look. The response was better, and there had to be a response after the last game. Grant Robinson at Ruse Grant. The story for the last 5 years: the good is good, and at times terrific footy, and able to compete with top 8 teams. The bad is deplorable, showing up our poor decision making, substandard skills, and immaturity when controlled. Opposition goals in 3, 4, 5 plus batches. Yeah, look, when we've got a good flow in our system, yeah, it does look good. But like I've been saying for a long time, are we winning games on system or talent? It feels like a little bit of talent at the moment. So, and trying to win games just by getting, and Clarkson's mentioned it, by competing harder in the contest. I don't think that's a recipe for success. It's a little bit outdated. You have to kind of go with the modern game. You see, Hawthorn had the worst midfield in the competition last year. It was rated the worst midfield in the competition last year, and they still made a prelim final. That's just one example, and there's been other teams that, GWS haven't had a great midfield over the years as well. And they've seen, probably not so much this year, but they've been around the finals as well. So there's got to be other ways to win games of football. Ants at Anthony Yu. On one hand, West Coast were unlucky to lose. On the other hand, we played 3.5 quarters and posted a score that had a chance to be defendable. Putting aside the last 10 minutes, there are still many positives to take away from the game. We need another key defender. It seems to be a common theme. A lot of people asking for that another defender. Cam Marshall at Multicam Sitcom. We'll wait to see what changes are made for the Richmond game. Regardless of the desire for stability, there are easily 3 or 4 players who should be dropped after the Freo Eagles games. Let's see if the match committee has any standards or selection integrity. Fair enough, Cam. Yes, so it's going to find out a lot over the next week or two, especially if results don't go as expected against Richmond and Essendon as well. Seriously, Joe, just can't even 8. I hope you had a good time over in WA, despite the football not being to the highest of quality for North Melbourne supporters. But hopefully you had a good time in WA, Joe. A win is a win, ugly or not. A game we would have lost last year, make no mistake. And about that, we just need to continue to win. And even though we know we need defenders, if we keep winning, we might attract. Look, it's a fair point. You might, I think Lewis Ante mentioned before, do we try and just win games to scrape into the 10 and risk the ability to not develop younger guys, or do we try and keep picking older veterans, and then we might attract some free agents for players that want to come to the club that are linked to us, Jordan Butts or something like that. Look, I think we really need him at the moment, so we'll wait. Yeah, it's a fair point there. Seriously, Joe. Steve at Steve16585203. How Blamires was dropped is mind-boggling. How Lowe keeps getting games is beyond belief. Yeah, fair enough. Look. Can't say much more than that. I don't know what else to say. But Blyes did play pretty well, and he'll definitely keep a spot for this week. Sarah Joseph at Prof Sarah J. Great, beats losing. Couldn't have summed it up any better myself. NA at Nyoma, 33. Still the same, pretty bleak, but we take the 4 points to move on. Low, Costanti, Spargo, negatives. Positive, Shees, Lucky, Simpkins, second half. Bemeyes, Goad look great. Bring in Goda and Pink for Logue. Bench when he's ready. Yeah, fair enough. I thought Simpkin, after quarter time, played a really good role on Harley Reid. Harley Reid started off on fire, but only had 10 more possessions for the game. So, it wasn't too bad at the end. So, I'm just going to the comments here. Nothing has come through on the live feed, so I'll go back to X as well. Chris at Super Imposse. We won. That's what needed to happen after the week before, and it did. Now they need to win again this week. Yeah, well, we certainly hope so. Chris, Roger Smith at Rhett Weeks 3. Lucky win, poor performance. Look, what is it on a golf course? I always say it's better to be lucky than be good. So, but I don't, like I said, I don't think we were lucky to win. I think based on overall game balance, I think we deserve the 4 points. Bottas WDC 26 at Boy Yeading. Take the points. Our rebuild is now only halted by a lack of defensive options. Off season looking spicy. I'm a bit worried about us if we don't get anyone. So we'll have to go and re-sign Aiden Core and give Griffin Logue contract extension and so forth. So no, we'll see. I'm just joking there, people. Bonce at Skolza. Relief. That's all I said. Glad you got relieved. Anthony Gorman at Anthony_Gorman1. Happy to bank the points that West Coast lost. We didn't win. Same defensive issues that have been around since Taz left, but just as worrying is the midfield that really don't cope with pressure. Thought the midfield was quite solid. I'm just going to go through and have a look at clearances. 39 to 35. Look, we should be smashing the midfield like West Coast, but Tim Kelly actually played a really good game. Harley Reid started off the game pretty well, but outside of that, they didn't really have much. I thought Harry Sheezel was outstanding. LDU was tagged out of the game a little bit by Hoff, who did a really good job. So, which happens. But it would have been nice to get a little bit more help. George Wardlaw was okay. He certainly played better. He did a couple of nice things. Jai Simpkin was tagging as well. So, and we get Foss back this week. So, don't have to worry too much about the midfield. Brady Rawlings has built his old list through the midfield. So, you'd think we should be okay. Mike Tagani at Where is E. Kim? Halfway through the second quarter, it looked like it was going to be a carbon copy of round 2. We were able to arrest the momentum and kick away with enough of a lead to barely escape. Even though it wasn't a great game, showing we were able to learn from round 2 is a win in my opinion. That's a really good way of looking at it there, mate. So, I like it. Ash at Howie_22. Lucky to win. McDonald is a dumb footballer. Logue out for Pink. Zerhard not working hard enough. JK and Spargo not giving enough. Harvey, Goad and Blemeyes looked good. Dersman needs to work hard to get in the game. Well, he needs to get in the game, so only 50% game time. But like I said, he seems to be getting squeezed out if Zerhard does play forward. Tom James, 28, at Tom Fenn, 26. 4 points is 4 points. Job done now. Time to move on to next week. That seems to be the message from a lot of people. Anthony Gorman sort of came in pretty late. Anthony Gorman, happy to bank the points, but West Coast lost, winning win. I did go through that. Sorry. I thought it just came in late, but it did, it did come in the last 10 minutes, that one. So that's all good. All good, no problems at all. That's pretty much it. So I'll go back to the live feed. Anyone else has come in? No, that's it. No one else has come in with a comment there. So thank you very much for everyone that came in to get your opinions on the game. No, I really appreciate it. So, yeah, look, a 1 point win is a 1 point win. Not perfect, plenty of work on, but at the end of the day, it's 4 points, something to build on. And as a lot of you supporters have said, we'll take it. So that's it for tonight. Make sure you like, subscribe, and share the podcast wherever you're listening. We'll be back again later this week. We'll go through team news. Hopefully, I can get a guest on. Been a bit, it's been a bit of a funny time trying to get guests on and stuff like that. A lot of people have been unavailable and busy, so which happens, and that life certainly gets in the way. But I wanted to get. I could have got a guest on tomorrow, but at the end of the day, it's probably getting too late after the game, so I want to do it within a day or two. So I wanted to get one out tonight, and it's pretty easy. I've got a lot of your opinions. It's something I should do is get more of your opinions on the game, but if I have a guest, then the podcast just goes too long. So I'll try and pick out 3 or 4 of the best ones I find anyway, or value, because you sort of sense that a lot of it was about Griffin Logan, sort of the same message. But look, I really appreciate everyone coming to the chat. So make sure you like, subscribe, and share the podcast, like I was sort of saying. So yeah, and I will be back later this week to go through team news. But that's it from me tonight. Hang on a sec. There's a late one. A late one has come in. So at Wolf's Whistle, thanks, Dean. We will be a completely different side with Foss and Hardiman back next week. We sure will, mate. I think we're going to win the flag at Wolf's Whistle. We're going to make a big charge as long as Foss stays fit and healthy, and Hardiman, and we'll probably get Zach Fisher back into the team. I think we'll be okay. Anyways, that's it from me. Bye for now, and